What's up, everybody? This is Missy from Lansing Hoops, and today I have another teaching tip for you. Today we'll cover 5 quick coaching techniques to help motivate your students to change. The first technique is called spotlighting. Spotlighting is when you highlight yourself or another student for doing well. That's when perhaps there's a couple of students or maybe just one student who isn't quite grasping the technique. Rather than focusing on that student specifically and saying you need to do this or you need to do that, you can highlight the students near the one who is struggling to show him what you want him to do. And you can do that in a couple of ways. You might broadly say to the room, "Wow, I love the way that Joe is following all the way through." Or you might say something more specifically like, "Everybody take just a moment right here. I want you to pause. Take a look at the way Sandy's doing this technique. I like the way she's reaching all the way across her body to set herself up. If you're having any troubles, try reaching all the way across your body." This way, you're highlighting someone who's doing it well and showing other students what you want them to do, rather than highlighting what you don't want them to do. Now, if no one in the room is doing the technique well, you can spotlight yourself. And the way you do that is by saying, "Everybody take a break for just one moment. I want to show you how to reach all the way across your body to set yourself up for the move that we're going to do." You pause everyone and you bring the focus back on yourself. You show them that specific thing and then you let them give it a try. That is the first coaching technique, is called spotlighting. The next coaching technique that we'll cover is called show and tell. Now, this can be interpreted in a few different ways, but one of my favorite ways is to take it quite literally, which is to first show the technique that you'll be talking about and teaching that day, and then you tell about it. So we've all been in a class before where a teacher starts talking about a technique, but they don't actually name the technique. They don't actually show the technique. They just front load their instruction with lots and lots and lots of words, and we all get lost and we all get bored and everybody's focus goes somewhere else. So one way to coach students is to first show them and then tell them. And if you really want to pack a punch, you'll show them again at the end. It goes something like this. "Everybody hold on to your props for just 1 second. I want to show you the next technique we're going to be working on. Then I'm going to tell you how to do it, and I'll show it to you one more time to make sure." Then you proceed to show them the technique. After you show it to them and they're still holding their hoops or their props and they're not moving yet, you say, "This is how you do it," and you fill it in with the specific words that you want them to use in order to do that. And then one more time you say, "Let me show it to you again," and you can combine the words with the movement at that time. Whatever words you just used to describe the move, you add it as you do it, and then you say, "All right, now you guys give it a try." So the second coaching technique is the show and tell, or the show and tell and show. The next coaching technique we're going to cover is called the hands-on technique, and it's exactly what you think. This is when you physically adjust a student to put them in the position that they need to be in to complete the technique that you're trying to get them to do. Of course, we always follow the golden rule, and we do not touch anyone without their permission. That might be as simple as saying, "Is it okay if I put my hands on you and show you where you need to move your body?" Or it might just be reading the room and understanding that some people do not want you in their space. The hands-on technique can make it really easy for a student to get where they need to be quicker when they are okay with being touched. Assuming that you have the consent to touch them, you place your hands on their body gently and move them to where they need to be. Or you manipulate their body to show them the length or the motion of your arms or whatever it is, so that they understand what they're doing right then and what they need to be doing instead. Again, this needs to be used with caution so that you're not touching people without their permission or manipulating their bodies in a way that make them feel uncomfortable for some reason. That technique is called the hands-on technique, and it's just simple adjustments to someone else's body to get them lined up in the position they need to be. The next coaching technique that we'll cover is called the repeater. And basically, this is when you get a student to repeat after you whatever you just said so that you can confirm that they understand it. This can be used to have them repeat the specific instructions, or it can be used to repeat steps within a bigger goal. One of the times that I use this in my classes is when I'm teaching a student how to do a two-handed isolation. And I have them put their hands in front of them like this, and I'll say, okay, thumb goes up. And I have them bring their thumb to the top. And when they grab in at the bottom, I'll say, okay, pinky goes down, and have them bring their pinky to the bottom. In that technique, they repeat again, thumb up, pinky down, thumb up, pinky down. This gets it solidified in their head, the motion that the hands are supposed to make, and it helps them retain it for the future and stay in sync with it in the moment. And we call that the repeater. Okay, the last coaching technique that we are going to cover today is called asking permission to teach. And it's pretty simple. It's where you actually ask your student if it's okay to share something with them. Asking permission to teach is really powerful when a student is struggling with a concept, or they're bogged down in their focus and their determination, and some of their perfectionism is keeping them from pushing through and relaxing through the technique to get it. It can also be really useful for students who are defensive about taking correction or taking feedback, or who always already know. And the way the asking permission to teach works is that when a student is struggling, either visibly they know they're struggling and they're upset with themselves, or maybe they think they're doing it well and they're pushing through, but when you observe it as a teacher, that technique isn't really where you'd like to see it. What you would do is go up to that student and you would say, "Hi Susie, is it okay if I show you something about this technique that I think is going to make it a little bit easier for you?" Now, here's the trick. If the student already thinks that it's easy and they're plowing through it, but they're not perfecting it, you wouldn't suggest showing them something that will make it easier because they already think it's easy. You would suggest saying something like, "Is it okay if I show you something that will make this move more dramatic?" Or, "Let me show you a variation of this that I think will challenge you a little bit." Something that they would care about. If they think it's easy, you offer something that's a little bit harder or a little bit more focused. Now, if they think it's really hard, that's when you would say, "Is it okay if I share something with you that'll make this just a little bit easier?" And the reason you do this is that the student will almost always say, "Yeah, sure," because they want to do well and they want to do it better. By getting that verbal affirmation that yes, it's okay to share, they open themselves up to your feedback and it's easier for them to take in. This aligns you with the student so that you're both on the same page trying to get to the same goal. All right, and that was 5 quick coaching techniques for motivating your students to change. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments and let me know how I can help you. My name's Missy, and you can subscribe to my channel at Lansing Hoops or on my website at lansinghoops.com. See you next time.